Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rotarians, friends, guests. It's a great day at Club 17. It's Thursday, May 19th, and it's a very special day because it's Wally Emmerling Award Day. Truly is a very special program which we recognize one of our own for exemplifying the traits of a true Rotarian. My name is Steve King, and I'm standing in for President Melinda, who is on her way as we speak to South Carolina to visit her 90-year-old mom. So we wish her well, and we will miss her today. But we are going to start the meeting with the national anthem, led by Bob Brandstetter and accompanied by Tom White, followed by the invocation and four-way test by Steve Drafel.
Let's bow our heads. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing us together today to honor a member of our Rotarian family. We thank you for this venue, for the food you have provided to nourish our body, and for those who prepared and served it. God above, in times of difficulty, we find comfort in your words. We are often inspired by those words. They can provide strength, resolve, and direction. Today, Father, we'll be honoring a fellow Rotarian who will be joining those who have been previously honored with the Walter Emmerling Award. Over the years, we have been inspired by our Wally Emmerling Award recipients. They have a heart for giving, a heart for caring, and a heart of service. Their words and actions inspire us, provide us direction, resolve, and strength to serve our community and our fellow man. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing into each of our lives these men and women who lead by their works, by their example. As another Rotarian is recognized for their many selfless contributions, let each of us be thankful for having the opportunity to know and honor a person who is dedicated to making our club, our community, and our world a better place. Amen. And now please join me in reciting the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
You may be seated. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, Tom White. I appreciate that very much. Splendid playing. Next, I'm going to ask our Sergeant-at-Arms, Nancy Reese, to introduce our guests and visiting Rotarians, followed by two new member introductions. The first by Hux Miller, the second by Stephanie Sheard. Nancy.
Thank you, President-elect Steve. So, kind of channeling Bill Stilley, I want you to remember that we're the 17th club ever founded, and great club. Speaking of the family of Rotary that we're adding to with the Wally Emmerling Award today, we have one guest, and that guest is Philip Terry, and he is a paralegal with the Hammond, Neal, and I can't read my own writing, and more law firm. And he also just graduated with his MBA from Xavier University. So that's very exciting. And his sponsor today is his dad, Vincent Terry. So welcome, Philip. Thank you all.
Hux, can you bring your new member up with you? Bob? Stephanie and Sarah, if you guys could wait in the wings, that'd be helpful.
Well, it is a great pleasure for me to introduce my good friend, Bill Froschauer. Bill and I practiced medicine together for 30 years at Group Health Associates. Bill was beloved by his patients. He always took as much time as was needed. Of course, he always ran late, as a good doctor should, and multiple interventions by multiple administrators had no effect whatsoever. Bill is a native Cincinnatian. He grew up on the west side. Let's hear it for the west side. Okay. He went to St. X, and then he went to Xavier. Then he did medical training at the University of Cincinnati, and then he did his internal medicine training at Good Samaritan Hospital. He and his wife, Deb, now live in Mount Lookout. Let's hear it for the east side. And Bill and Deb have 4 kids and 10 grandchildren. Bill is an avid bicyclist. He also trained and qualified for the Boston Marathon and ran and completed the Boston Marathon. He loves travel, he loves reading, he loves hiking. He will be a great Rotarian. My friend, Bill Froschauer.
Just smile. We're going to look for the camera.
Yeah, we're looking at the camera. Okay.
Great. Okay. All right. That's great, Bill. Thank you. Come on up, Stephanie and Sarah. Welcome, Stephanie Sheard.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce Sarah Borges Lopez today. Sarah is a Cincinnati native. She went to Walnut Hills, and then she graduated from the University of Massachusetts. I know you guys are Walnut Hills fans, so clap all you need. There you go. That's right. She's currently, though, working for her executive MBA from Quantic University. Sarah is a commercial and investor realtor with eXp Realty, as well as a talent acquisitions partner for a Silicon Valley tech firm, which I think sounds pretty stinking cool. She's also an active member of Fuel Cincinnati, as well as Junior League. Sarah is married with 1 son, and I believe he's a pretty recent grad, is that correct? Yes, okay, yeah. Yeah, so he graduated last year. She's also got 3 dogs, loves to read, travel, and hike. And she's got a big dream, which is to hike the Appalachian Trail, which I think sounds amazing. I don't know that I would personally take that feat on, but I would maybe join you for a little snippet of the trail. So, well, please welcome Sarah with a warm Rotary welcome today. Congratulations.
Just smile for the camera. I'll put this in the new.
Thank you, Hux.
Sarah, Bill, welcome. It's always fun to welcome new members. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Hux, for those great introductions. We're going to hear from our Executive Director, Sarah Pattison, briefly about the upcoming Rotary International Convention.
Thank you, Steve. We're very excited that the RI convention will be in person this year in Houston, Texas. Christy and myself will be attending. It's from June 4th through June 8th, and we're just asking that if any of you are attending to let us know so we know everybody that's there. So if you could just let the office know if you'll be attending, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Some people get to go to Singapore, Hawaii, Indianapolis, and Houston. All right, it's going to be great. It's going to be really fun. It ought to be really attended. First time in like 3 years, so there should be 50,000 people there. President nominee Doug Bolton couldn't be here today to talk with you about the board and officer nomination process, so he asked me to do it, and I'm happy to do so. I'm going to share a word about it. Nominations are currently open for board of directors, treasurer-elect, and president nominee. Those nominations stay open until July 1st. I don't know, Christy, if we're going to show any of those slides. It doesn't matter. We do not have to show them, but if we do, it'll show the timeline that essentially we need your nominations between now and July 1st so that we can kick off the whole nomination and election process. Doug has recommended, and the board has approved, 4 at-large members to join that nomination committee. Committee is myself, Doug Bolton, Melinda Kelly, and Kelly Shook, Bob Branstetter, Vince Terry, and Michael Schatzman. Thank you for serving on that nominating committee, everyone. Hey, there's some pictures of our nominating committee. Thank you, Christy. Again, nominations are open until July 1st. That nomination form is a link in the e-raise. It's a one-page form, should be fairly simple to complete. You can complete it for someone else, or you can complete it for yourself. Thanks. Next, we are going to hear from Mike LaValle as part of our series on 100 years of Camp Allen. Thanks, Mike. I know he sprung it on you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. If you've been here for the past few weeks, we've been doing the 100-year Camp Allen anniversary history. And we're having a big party to celebrate that on August 27th. So make sure you put that in your calendar. We've been telling you about it. I know it's a ways away, but it's going to be a fine event. And last week, Fred Fisher and others gave a whole program about Camp Allen, not necessarily about what we're doing out there for this 100th year celebration, but just in general, what's been going on at Camp Allen, programming, et cetera. So I hope you saw that. It was a great presentation. So also a couple weeks ago, Fred was doing the Camp Allen history, and he left off in 1933, which was when we built a shallow wading pond out into the lake. And if some of the older members here will remember that there was a lake down where we do the balloon rides. That jumped ahead, but there we go. So there's the wading pond you see in the back, and some kids obviously enjoying a boat ride. So as I move forward from that time, in 1934, I'm sorry, that's where I am right there. In 1934, one of the first chores was that we made the final payment on Camp Allen. If you recall, it was several years prior to that we decided to buy it from the railroad and took out a mortgage. And in 1934, it was paid off. And for the next several years, there was actually not a whole lot of importance that was recorded. Camp was running along fairly smoothly. Rotarians were out there enjoying themselves, and campers were enjoying themselves. But just a few highlights from the next few years. That keeps jumping ahead. The red light table went out and they provided fireworks at Camp Allen. Daddy Edgar Allen, who the camp is named after and who started the Crippled Children organization in the state, he passed away that year. And I thought this was an interesting comment, but just because it was reported, but it was important enough that they reported it, that the Crippled Children's Camp reported an average gain of 3¼ pounds per child over the last 5 years. Now, to us, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I guess it was important enough for them at the time to put that in the history books. So, like I said, the next few years there wasn't a lot going on, but this picture shows when camp was over, we granted permission for the Boys Club to use the camp. So they used it for several years, and in one case, there were up to 200 kids from the Boy Scouts that came out. And I think they used it for like 4 weeks. Let's see, 1940, this keeps jumping around, so I'll just let it keep moving. In 1944, there were Rotarians that went out there on one of Hux's hands-on service days. Right, Hux? He's not paying attention. And they built a new bridge out there. And in 1947, the board okayed a sewage disposal plant. So you can imagine what happened before that. And that they took out a mortgage for $10,000 to build that plant, which in today's money is about $45,000. And the last thing I'm going to tell you about was in 1950. We had our lawyers draw up a plan which transferred Camp Allen to the new Rotary Camp Foundation, which was in charge, had 9 trustees in charge, and it eventually is what became, and we all know now, is our Rotary Foundation. And the last picture, which I'll get to, this was in an article, and I know it's hard to read, but the very bottom line there makes note that we were one of the first camps in the country to serve crippled children. So we'll be back in another 2 weeks and take it from 1950 forward. And remember to put the August 27th on your calendar. Thank you.
Mike LaValle, thank you for the update. For those of you who haven't been out to Camp Allen recently, the improvements that Mike and his team have made to the camp have been significant. The upgrade and the facelift is amazing. And thank you to Hux Miller and the hands-on service team that was out there this last weekend putting together the putt-putt golf course and clearing honeysuckle. So it was great. I have a few announcements. This week's meeting is sponsored by Go-To Partners. Thank you to Rotarian Dave Carlin for your sponsorship this week, and extra thank you, Dave, for ceding your time at the podium for this program today. Thank you, Dave. Split the pot. We know how this works. We pull out our tickets. 25% of the pot goes to the winning ticket. 25% of the pot goes into the accumulating pot. Today's winning ticket will receive $39. The rolling pot is up to $1,721. 15 cards remain in the pot. Mr. LaValle, will you do the honors? Pick mine. It's a red ticket. The last 4 digits are 4826. Bob McElroy, we've got a winner. Now, is that 2 weeks in a row, Bob? 2 weeks in a row. You've been selling tickets 2 weeks in. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Bob is ceding his ticket for shame. All right. It's another red ticket. Bob, if this is your ticket, I'm going to die. 5009. Uta Papka. All right, Uta. Congratulations. Let's see if you got the big winner today. You're looking for the Queen of Hearts. Ooh. The pot continues to grow. Thank you, Uta. Speaking of Bob McElroy, this month's euchre game is being hosted by Bob and Joyce McElroy in their Anderson Township home. That's Tuesday, the 24th of May. Registration and social hour begin at 6:30. First deal starts at 7. All experience levels are welcome. The cost is $5. If you're interested in attending, see Jeff Weir, Tuesday, May 24th, 6:30. Euchre. Membership invoices and new membership category. Club dues for July 1st through December 31st. They were announced a few weeks ago at our meeting. There's also a new membership option called Active Flex. Invoices were emailed to you this week, and we will have, if you do not have an email address on file, your invoice will be mailed. Unless you indicate otherwise, your membership level will continue just the same as it has previously been selected. Family of Rotary. Our condolences go out to Rotarians Stephanie Sheard and Bob Sheard. Stephanie's brother, Todd Skyver, passed away from cancer this week. Please keep their family in your thoughts and prayers. Just one meeting this week, 1:30 meeting of the young professionals in boardroom 4. Without any further announcements or ado, I'd like to welcome our co-hosts and co-chairs of the Wally Emmerling Award Committee, Mike LaValle and Steve Haber.
Thank you, President-elect Steve. And good afternoon again, everyone. We'll wait for Christy to, yep. No, you can just get it rolling. We're good, yep. Okay. So today is a very special day here at Cincinnati Rotary, as we are about to honor one of our members with the club's annual Walter Emmerling Award. But before I do that, I'd like to share a few facts about the program itself. Of the 28 previous honorees, who we'll announce in a minute, 15 are still with us, and 2018's recipient, Don Keller, was the first one who did not know Wally, as he had passed before Don joined the club. And there'll be many more to come. And so the first several programs were emceed by Greg Mordechek and Jim Powers, and they shared responsibilities similar to what Steve and I do, of talking to the families, putting the program together, gathering pictures, inviting guests, etc. But the two of them, they had two podiums, and they went back and forth between pictures as they each went through the program. And that worked fine until one year when Jim Powers won the award. So now there's two guys who are trying to put this program together, one of whom's the recipient. And this is a surprise to the recipient. So they had kept it a surprise. And the two of them wrote a ghost script. We were talking earlier. I'd love to know who that ghost script was written for, or whether they ever became an honoree. I don't know. But they wrote a ghost script and presented the award to Jim. And then the same thing happened, I think it was 4 years later, when Greg Mordechek won the award. So, Walter Emmerling, or Wally as many of us knew him, was a longtime member of our Rotary Club and was much admired. I'm skipping my programs here. Here we go. He was raised in Norwood and lost his father at the young age of 5. It was evident, however, that Wally would make something of himself, regardless of what was thrown at him, and like many of us, he learned about the world early and jumped right in. With his paper route and active involvement in the Boy Scouts, he began early in learning his Rotarian values. Not long after that, in 1924, Wally would become a Buckeye and enter the Ohio State University, and 4 years later, he would graduate with a degree in business, and it didn't take him long to be armed with his degree, and Wally would sign on as a new member hire with Cincinnati's Procter & Gamble Company. It would be the beginning of an almost 40-year career with Procter & Gamble. Now, along the way, he received the National Office Managers Association Manager of the Year in 1962. Now, I don't know much about that, but as I think about it, as we all think about it, how many office managers do you think are at Procter & Gamble just alone? Then there's an association of all the office managers across the country, and Wally won the award in 1962. In 1967, he was appointed to the school board. In 1969, he was elected to the board of the YMCA, and became the president of the Friars Club. In 1976, he became the first Sir Award, which many of us recognize as a super involved Rotarian. In 1983, he was the trustee of the Hyde Park Methodist Church, and in 1984, he received the first YMCA Hall of Fame award. So you can see that he was quite active and quite well respected. So beyond all of his achievements, Wally was a gentleman in the truest sense of the word. He was a man of integrity and strong dedication. I forget the slides. He became a Rotarian in 1949, the age of 45. He was president of our club in the Rotary year 64-65 and was a member for the rest of his 55 years. In time, it was obvious that he represented what Rotary was all about in so many ways. 28 years ago, in the spring of 1994, the club held the first Rotary Spring Classic at the Clovernook Country Club. It was a roast, a fundraiser, and a golf outing, and Wally was selected as the first honoree of the event. Eventually, the board of directors elected to modify the event and rename it in his honor, and thus the creation of what we are celebrating today is the annual Walter Emmerling Award. We remember Wally today, who passed away at the age of 99 in 2004, shortly before what would have been his 100th birthday. Since that beginning in 1994, several members, many of them past presidents and past district governors, have been honored with this award, and I'd like to introduce them to you this afternoon. And if you're here, please stand up or wave or something so we can acknowledge that you're here. So, in addition to Wally, we had the second honoree was past President Cromer Mashburn, was followed by past President John Ahrens, longtime Rotary Choir Director Bob McSpadden, Doug Hogue, who was a past president and past district governor, Carl Krantz, past club vice president, pediatric eye care champion Ira Abramson, also the past vice president. We have past district governor, past president, and past Rotary International Director Bruce Cook. We have, did that advance? Oh, I turned a page too soon. So next we have Jim Powers, who creatively emceed the event for many years that I mentioned a minute ago. We have past president and past district governor Jack Schaefer, past president Tom Powell, who was also a past district governor, past president Gus Yingling, past president Greg Mordechek, who again emceed the event with Jim Powers. We had Jack Berger, past president Pete Armstrong, along with past president Don Nyer. Next, we have Camp Allen champion and past foundation president Fred Fisher, past president Julian Magnus, past president Al Conscious, who was also a past foundation president, past president Owen Rassman and current foundation president, past president Steve Haber, Uda Papke, past president and past district governor, Charlie Rademan, past vice president, myself. Okay, this is past President Don Keller and past foundation president, Past vice president and past president of our Rotary Foundation was Jane Burkhead. Past president Jack Scott, who is also a past president of the foundation. And last year's recipient was past president Susan Wilkinson, who's also a foundation president. So as you can see, all of these recipients have been, and many continue to be, tremendously active in our Rotary Club. So please join me in giving them all a well-deserved round of applause. And by the way, for those of you who are here, after the meeting's over, we'll try to get together up front and take a group photo. So who will it be this year? Well, in just a few moments, we'll be saluting the 29th Rotarian to receive this honor. Through the years, we have been very fortunate to have had many talented people serve on our board of directors, and these individuals have worked tirelessly to select just the right member to be honored with this award. As you can imagine, earlier this year, your board of directors, led by our fun-loving President Melinda, merged with their decision. Like those in the past, today's recipient of this special honor has a history of active membership, leadership, and has been a true Rotarian in every sense of the word. They scanned numerous baby pictures of Rotarians, hoping to find just the right one worthy of this prestigious award. So, fellow Rotarians, ladies, gentlemen, and guests, it is our very special honor to introduce to you the 29th Walter Emmerling Award winner. Please join me in congratulating our friend, or maybe I should say, félicitations, mon ami, Richard Lajeunesse. So as Susan has accompanied Richard and his wife Madeline to the front desk, we are bringing in many visiting guests today that I'll introduce to you. We have Greg Leisner, who is a high school and college friend of Richard's. We have Aileen Vargas Aileen Vargas, who is Madeline's sister and her brother-in-law. We have Louis and Marguerite Bourgeois, Marguerite is Madeline's sister. We have former co-workers, Monica Cohen and Eric Okerson. And there's several more who are joining us by Zoom. So I don't know that Richard's paying any attention, but we can wave to the people on Zoom. But those people on Zoom include his daughter Christine and her spouse Dan Berger, who are in Michigan. And we have daughter Katie and her spouse Grant Conant, who are in Virginia. So Richard, I just mentioned you've got several people joining us on Zoom, so you make sure you look at the camera and give them a wave. So please join me in welcoming all of them.
Richard and guests, we've got some special tables up there if you would like to sit down and enjoy this next part of the program. Richard, you were born in Dearborn, Michigan, and grew up in the same house where your father was born. A modest two-story in River Rouge, an old French community of Detroit, and later dubbed the heart of industry. The first of your family came to Detroit, then a part of New France, around 1749 from the village of, do I get this right, Vif? Oh, sweet. On the outskirts of Grenoble. Your paternal grandparents spoke French, while Polish was the language on your mother's side. So you grew up in a linguistic bouillabaisse, resulting in your study of several languages. You attended grade school at Our Lady of Lourdes Grade School. While there, you served as an altar boy for Latin Mass, where you enjoyed the coffee and donuts after Mass with family and friends. Unfortunately, your dad lost his sight when you were just a toddler, so you helped him do chores and repairs around the house, and you obtained your driver's license at age 14, going to the lumber yard, the paint and hardware stores, and you would sneakily do chores on ladders while your mom was at work and then put the ladders away before she returned. High school was at the University of Detroit Jesuit High School, where you played sports and had summer jobs lifeguarding, driving dump trucks, repairing casement windows, volunteering at the local hospital. You attended Xavier University, where you earned a Bachelor of Science degree and graduated summa cum laude in 1975. While attending Xavier, you were one of 5 Frieden Scholars, and you spent a year, 1973 to 1974, studying at the Sorbonne University of Paris. And while you were there, you had a summer job helping to restore a chateau. Graduate school followed, and you graduated from the University of Michigan in 1977 with a Master's of Arts in American Studies, which was followed by law school, where you earned a Juris Doctor degree in 1980. During that time, there were a number of significant events. First, you were chosen to be a Rotary International Fellow, what we now refer to as ambassadorial scholars, spending a year in Louvain and Brussels, Belgium in 1976-1977, where you studied French, Dutch, German, Flemish, as well as journalism and European history. You were the guest speaker at over 40 Belgian Rotary clubs, making presentations on the theme of international understanding. Secondly, and we think most importantly, you met Madeline. And the two of you were married in August of 1978. And a family soon followed with your 3 daughters, Christine, Elizabeth, and Catherine. You joined the law firm of then Graydon, Head and Ritchie, specializing in the areas of commercial real estate and environmental and international law. You focused on complicated real estate issues, including real estate investment and economic development, tax abatements, tax increment financing, community reinvestment areas, and enterprise zones. You also served as the firm's first environmental attorney, working with environmental regulatory compliance and liability management, a member of the executive committee and chair of the real estate practice and international practice groups. You spent your entire career at Graydon, 39 years, retiring at the end of 2019. And while at Graydon, you took on multiple roles and earned recognition for your volunteerism, including the 2006 John W. Warrington Community Service Award from the Cincinnati Bar Association. You've also been named Ohio Super Lawyer from 2006 through 2019, and were selected by your peers for inclusion in the Best Lawyers in America for your work in corporate law and real estate law. And in December of 2013, the Real Property Law Committee of the Cincinnati Bar recognized you with its annual Real Property Law Practitioner of the Year. And in the January 2008 edition of Ohio Super Lawyers magazine was this wonderful article about your magical career at Graydon, where you made your clients' problems disappear. Which, by the way, was started back in the first grade when you received a Remco Sneaky Pete's Magic Show as a gift for Christmas. You never grew out of your magical entertainment, and your first public performance was to the local Rotary Club when you were in the 8th grade. You've appeared on television here at the age of 16 and many other public performances throughout high school and college at parties and schools to help defray educational expenses. And you continue to spin your magic, of which we so appreciate, entertaining, enjoying, and having fun at our Condon School holiday party. As a result, you received an International Brotherhood of Magicians Presidential Citation in 1996, and in 2019, you were recognized as a 50-year member of that organization. Richard, you've been a member of our club for nearly 26 years, having joined in 1996 in the line of business of law practice. Past District Governor Jack Schaefer, another Wally awardee, was your sponsor, and you served our club in many ways, serving at the Ronald McDonald House, Condon School Holiday Party, the Flying Pig Marathon, and Action Auction, just to name a few. You were president of our club in the Rotary years 2014-2015 and were awarded the club's Super Involved Rotarian Award in 2020. You're a member of the Legacy Circle and are included in our club's list of Paul Harris Fellows. While president, you started a lecture series with guest speakers, the Teacher Recognition Program, Interact Club. You've also served as chair of our World Community Service, and for 6 years you were chair of our district's Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship Selection Committee. And you started our spouse membership program, whereupon you invited Madeline to become a member towards the end of your presidential year. And Madeline, too, is a Paul Harris Fellow. And one of our fondest memories of you during your year as president was starting the Split the Pot slogan. Oh, so close. Richard, we could go on here about your wonderful life and all the accomplishments you've achieved, but we've got some folks who want to spend a few moments reflecting on what you mean to them. First is going to be Monica Conan. Monica is an attorney at Graydon, where her areas of practice include banking, business, construction, and real estate. So please welcome Monica.
This one here?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Congratulations, Richard. I hope you were really surprised. So I was delighted to accept Mike LaValle's kind invitation to share a few words about Richard and his legal career at Graydon Head. But I will say, you guys have really done your homework. I'm not sure I have, now I have to maybe delete a little bit of my speech so I'm not repeating anything, but good job. All right, so a couple things. We'll talk about the start of Richard's career. We're so fortunate to have him as our partner. And it started with an on-site visit at the University of Michigan by one of our senior partners. He came back to, He came back to the law firm and said that he had just met a young man who reminded him of Abraham Lincoln. Whip smart, yet soft-spoken. I think he nailed it. So that year, we ignored our hiring limits, and the firm extended an invitation to Richard to join the firm, and we are so glad that we did. As fate would have it, Richard's first year of practice coincided with Congress's passage of CERCLA, the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act, and he quickly became the firm's expert. Now, you hear that acronym now, and people are familiar with it, but at the time, that law was absolutely daunting. Sure, the tome looked like this, everything in fine print, but to Richard, no problem. He jumped right in, and he really did become not only the firm expert, but a recognized expert here in the community. There's a picture of him in his early days at the firm. So Richard had a mantra around the firm, and he would be teased by the other practice groups. And that mantra was, everything begins with real estate. Well, he did become that very specially recognized expert in real estate and environmental law. Indeed, he has been highly lauded for his many awards, many of them granted by his peers, which I think makes the awards that much more special. Clients recognized Richard as an attorney who could deprickle thorny situations with creative solutions. Richard and his clients together built and expanded hospitals, retirement communities, universities, headquarters, complex multi-use developments, regional entertainment malls, and more. You've heard that in addition to his substantive expertise, he held many leadership positions within the firm, including his service on the management committee and as chair of the commercial real estate group. But I think part of what we want to make sure that we share is that he is an amazing mentor. And though he was busy with his leadership positions, busy with learning and keeping up with and staying ahead of the substantive law and taking care of our clients, he always took the time to answer our colleagues' questions and make sure that their practice was proceeding successfully as well. But don't let all of these weighty kind of legal awards make you think that Richard doesn't have a fun-loving side, because I think you know that he does. And one of those hobbies is magical entertainment. And I will say that Richard was wonderful with daughter Katie, kind of co-hosting the magical shows at Graydon's annual holiday parties. And he not only wowed the kids, but the adults often left thinking, how in the heck did he do that? Richard also brought his love of international studies into the firm. And on any given day, you might hear conversations not only in English being conducted in his office, but also conducted in French, German, and Polish, which was somewhat of a surprise when you were walking down the hall and not exactly expecting that. Richard put those language skills to work in promoting cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. He and Madeline frequently hosted foreign exchange students, foreign business leaders, and legal experts from other countries in their home. Richard never met a foreign language barrier that he could not bridge or a foreign custom that he was not willing to try. Ambassador to the world might be a fitting title. Madeline, Richard's wife, has always been an active and willing participant in both service and fun. We think they make a great team. At Graydon, we consider Richard one heck of a lawyer, our counselor, our mentor, our resident magician, our linguist, our confidant, our partner, our friend, and a model human who holds family and service to others in the highest regard. Sound familiar? I think the Rotary has also seen, enjoyed, and benefited from these qualities in Richard, making him a very worthy recipient of the Wally Emmerling Award. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to shout out for the Rotary's and Graydon's shared colleague and friend and honoree, Richard Lajeunesse.
Thank you, Monica. Next, we have Eric Okerson, also an attorney with Graydon and lifelong friend of Richard. So please welcome Eric up to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Eric Okerson, and I met Richard LaJeunesse in 1980 when he and I were both brand new associates at the law firm. And Monica mentioned that Richard, they granted a hiring exception to add an additional new associate with Richard. And I followed behind him. And it took quite a while before the firm decided that they could maybe add one more. And thankfully they did, because that allowed me to start my career with Richard back in 1980 as new associates at Graydon, Head, and Ritchie. And we were young men back in those days. And I from the pictures, I see we both had hair. Well, and that's what the law career will do for you. It certainly pulled a lot of hair out in my time. We're not young men anymore, but I think we're well seasoned, and we had a wonderful adventure of more than 40 years together in our careers and personal lives. So, being out-of-towners, we had to study for and take the Ohio bar exam, and so we did that in addition to working at the law firm. We worked during the day and go to the bar review course in the evenings, and eventually, at the given time, we drove up to Columbus together, and I had a little British sports car, an MGB GT, and I drove, and Richard had to cram himself into the passenger seat, which was probably a pretty uncomfortable experience, but nevertheless, we made it up to Columbus, and we endured the 3-day ordeal. I don't know how long the bar exam is now, but it was 3 days then, so you were pretty exhausted at the end of that experience. And we came back to resume our careers in earnest, and a few weeks after, we were advised that we had both passed the bar, and so we set to work as associates in the law firm, learning what it meant to be a practicing lawyer, learning the ropes. And with the help of great mentors and teachers in the law firm and our colleagues, because we taught each other quite a bit along the way, I think we managed to become pretty good lawyers. And in just a few years, actually 6 years after we started with Graydon, we were both elected partners of the firm, which is a wonderful vote of confidence from the people that I think we really admired and respected, the current partners of the law firm. And so we worked hard. We took on different leadership positions in the firm, as Monica had mentioned. We both had served on as business committee chairs, department chairs, and on the executive committee. And things changed. We became the teachers and mentors, not the learners and mentees. And we saw together almost 40 classes of incoming associates at Graydon, Head, and Ritchie over the years. And those that were fortunate enough to work with Richard benefited greatly by his patience and excellent coaching and mentorship. And certainly there are many legacy people there at Graydon today that have benefited from Richard's smart tutoring and coaching. But we were also young men outside of the law firm, and we have shared a lot of our life milestones together over the 40 years that we've known each other, more than 40 years. I remember we both bought starter houses. Mine was in Mount Washington on Bonnie Drive, and I remember one Friday afternoon I told Richard that I was going to rent a wallpaper steamer and try to remove, 2 or 3 layers of wallpaper from a room in my house, and I'd never done that before. So Saturday morning the doorbell rang, and I opened the door to find Richard, and he was there, and he said, well, I think you might need some help with this wallpaper project. And so there we stood for the entire Saturday. He gave up his whole Saturday in this wet, hot, miserable, steamy room removing wallpaper. And I don't believe I asked him to do this. I don't think I would ask anybody to help with wallpaper removal. But he showed up and spent the day with me, and that's the kind of a man that Richard is. He just always goes above and beyond and finds a way to make a difference. So it wasn't too much longer that we both became first-time fathers, and that was a wonderful experience. And Richard and Madeline, of course, have had their 3 daughters, and my wife and I, we had a son and a daughter, and those kids became friends, seeing each other at firm Christmas parties and picnics, and we watched them grow up over the years and become wonderful, accomplished adults in their own right, and now parents. And so we're newly experiencing the joys of being grandparents, and that's just a wonderful thing to again hold a youngster in your arms and wonder what happened to all the years that this could happen. But it was also difficult to manage our professional lives and our family lives. That, you know, it is said that the law is a jealous mistress, and she makes great demands on people that have chosen that profession. So it's a difficult balancing act to figure out how to meet your professional commitments and still have the proper amount of time and to be with your family and other activities. And you can only do that with both the support of your wives and your colleagues. And that's another important aspect of having a friendship with someone like Richard, because he would be there for you and I would be there for him as needs arose, and we had to find a way to manage through. And I think we did it in good spirits. We also shared bittersweet milestones together, like bidding farewell to our parents and at the end of their lives. And it's hard; those are difficult times, but with the steadfast friendship of people in your lives, like Richard, who is there to offer his heartfelt support, we get through these times and can look at the bright side of all of our life's experiences. So, with more than 40 years of friendship with Richard, I think I know him pretty well. I know he has been a wonderful son, a wonderful husband, a wonderful father and grandfather, a terrific law partner and civic volunteer. That is just, he's had a remarkable life, and he's a remarkable man. And I know we all here know that Richard's love for magic, which was pretty fun to have in their back pocket with difficult clients or opposing parties, because he could always disarm them with disappearing red sponge balls or a knife that would change color from ruby red to white and disappear. Or, you know, for our foreign speaking clients and other parties, switch to perfect French, or throw in Polish or Dutch or a little Spanish if need be. So in addition to being a very brilliant lawyer with a great legal mind, he had these wonderful disarming characteristics that served our firm so well. Of course, his connection to magic is known to all, but I think the real magic of Richard is his wonderful character. It's just so beautiful to have had him in my life, and to have his friendship for all these years. I've never known anybody that could see the positive in any person or any situation better than Richard can, and by doing so, he lifts up everyone around him, and that is just a wonderful characteristic. So I'm proud of you, Richard, that all you've accomplished. You certainly deserve this award today. I thank you for your friendship over the many years. I'm looking forward to our ongoing friendship and many more adventures together. But thank you from me and from all of your friends. Thanks.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Eric. Finally, we're going to have past President Susan come up. She was president when Richard was on the board, so she'll come up and say a few remarks. Please welcome Susan.
Richard, my sincere congratulations on becoming the 29th recipient of the Wally Emmerling Award. You absolutely exemplify the highest qualities a Rotarian can achieve, always demonstrating service above self and serving as a model to others. It's my honor to share a few thoughts about you, Richard, truly a great living Rotarian. As all of you will recall from your early days of membership in Club 17, it can be a bit daunting to suddenly become friends with over 200 people you've never met before. But I will always remember Richard with his great smile, welcoming me as a new member to Rotary. When I chaired the Condon School Party, Richard was always eager to say yes, here we go, the magic again, yes to serving as the magician during the party. There was Richard doing a magic trick with a young child. I can see the image in my mind. I can't, though, decide who was having more fun, Richard or the young child. Richard served as a member of my successful election committee to the club board of directors in 2011, and he then joined the club board in 2012. During my tenure as club president, we undertook a strategic plan that looked at a number of issues, including the club's governance. Richard was so vital to our success with this plan. He was always thoughtful, deliberative, and a clear thinker about issues and concerns raised during our discussions. He was sensitive to the changes we were presenting to the club's membership, but always mindful of what would serve our club best for its future. Richard was an outstanding club director and our secretary-treasurer. He worked tirelessly for Club 17 and became our 105th president in 2014. One fun fact. Many of you may remember the fun club fundraiser that we did called Festival of Dinners. That was actually Richard's idea. It had a great run, and we made lots of money for the club. I think we should think about bringing it back. Now, another fun fact, again, and Steve and I should have compared notes before today's events, but it was during Richard's presidential year that we initiated the accumulating Split the Pot. Thank you, Bob McElroy. And it was Richard who started saying, "Oh, so close," now heard so many times when the Queen of Hearts is not drawn. Richard continues his service to Club 17, our community, and the world. He has served as the co-chair of our World Community Service Committee, and he was very instrumental in establishing the World Affairs Endowment Fund in our foundation to fund international projects. As Steve said earlier, Richard is a Legacy Circle member and a Paul Harris Fellow. Richard, again, my sincere congratulations on your Wally Emmerling Award. It was my honor to speak at your celebration as you spoke at mine last year. Bienvenue, mon ami, à félicitations.
Richard, we're running out of time here, so I would request that you and Madeline, if you would kindly go up onto the stage over here so we can provide you with some goodies. And while you're doing that, let me provide Mike's and my thanks to a number of people. First, Madeline, for helping us with pictures, stories, our speakers, Monica, Eric, and Susan, guests who came to celebrate, Rotarians Carl and Julie Poyer, who volunteered to host the guests backstage, and also to Christy and Mike LaValle. One more here. There we go. Richard, our heartfelt congratulations for becoming the 29th Walter Emmerling Award winner.
Richard Lajeunesse, félicitations, mon ami, bien fait. On behalf of Club 17, we would like to present you this plaque, and it reads, Rotary Club of Cincinnati, Richard T. Lajeunesse, in appreciation of your dedication and continuing service to the Rotary Club of Cincinnati, the Board of Directors does hereby present to you the Wally Emmerling Award that has been established to be given to great living Rotarians who have demonstrated service above self. 2022 29th awardee. Congratulations. Can we get a picture? Where's the picture? Camera? Mr. Photographer? Okay. Reminder, previous Wally Emmerling awardees, please stay after for a picture with this great living Rotarian. And next week, we have got Don Lothrop coming from Kalina Real Estate. He's going to tell us what he's building in Romania. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Richard, congratulations.